Okay, so this camera kind of pissed me off because this is exactly the camera I want a Sony A7S III to be, which is a DSLR-like cinema camera that's in a cinema camera's body. I previously made a video called, a Sony A7S III is stupid, which I made like previously way before A7S III was released, because it's just dumb that they're making these like amazing video-centric cameras, but they're putting them in some photography cameras' bodies. It makes no sense to me, and I got some comments saying that, it's good for like wedding videographers who need like a light camera to go with it, and which is true. Well, it doesn't have to be the photography camera's body, and this is what Canon did, which they made this camera called the C70, which is a small cinema camera, and it features some of the things that I think is essential if you're buying a professional video camera, such as XLR inputs. It has internal ND on it, so you don't have to worry about screwing on a variable ND filter and then getting weird vignetting all over it. It's amazing. I mean, if Sony were to release an A7S III in the same form factor where you're getting, a bunch of buttons on it, that's very useful when you're shooting on the go, getting internal ND, XLR inputs on it, it would be an amazing video camera, and Canon has done it. And honestly, I'm kind of like considering switching over because honestly, one of my biggest issues with the Canon cinema camera is that they've been using the EF line of lenses besides their new RF mount. And that is the issue for me, just because, I don't want to buy a EF mount camera and in the future get amazing RF lenses that I can't use it with. I want to be able to use much lenses as possible, and that's what Canon obviously is doing. They're starting to release these cinema cameras with RF mount on it, which is amazing. So here's some ways that Sony could actually beat this camera. First of all, this is a Super 35 sensor camera, so they could just, put a full frame sensor on it, and you know what, just put the internals of the A7S III, boom, you already got a camera that's pretty much up to par with this camera. You would have to put it side by side to see the quality difference, but if they just take the A7S III and just take it out of that stupid photography camera's body, and I'm shooting with an A7R III right now, so I'm used to those bodies, but it's like, again, that's a photography camera. It should be a different body for video-centric cameras. Second thing they can do is put some IBIS in that camera, because the C70 doesn't have any IBIS, which is kind of shitty considering it's a small camera. I mean, since it is so small, you can just put it on a gimbal, but if it's the camera that you just have it on the go, then honestly, it would be great to have some IBIS on it. And honestly, the things that they don't have to, and things that they can just call it Sony A7, and things that they can just call it Sony FS5S. I think this should be the next evolution of the FS5 cameras. I own an FS5 and I love that camera, but it's lacking some features such as autofocus, and it's only really a 1080p camera. You can shoot 4K on it, but it's more of a 1080p camera. It can only do 4K 8-bit, while 1080p is 10-bit, which looks great. But if you need to shoot 4K, then it's not really the camera for that. But yeah, that's gonna be it, guys. So let me know what you guys think. How you guys feel about the C70? And do you guys agree? Do you think that Sony should have just made a video-centric camera body for the A7S III camera instead of just sticking to their photography camera line body for some reason? But anyways, guys, thanks for watching this video. Make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.